Hello everybody, I am Bets Golden and you are at the Gel Press channel. I am so glad that you are here. Before we get started, I would just like to encourage you, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, if you would go ahead and do that right now, making sure that you click that notification bell so you can be notified every time we have a video that drops. Also, feel free to like this video and share it with anyone you think would be interested in how to use a gel press and different things you can do with it. And if you have any questions or comments, please make sure that you leave them down below. Okay, so for today, I don't know about you, but for me, I have a ton of gel press pulls that I have done. I just get on this kick every once in a while and I make all these gel press pulls, and then sadly, they often sit in my bin doing nothing. So today I pulled 3 of them and we're going to do a mixed media flower. Now for this particular technique, I am using some that have some paint on the back, and these are not my favorite prints. I did that on purpose because we're going to cut them apart and alter them even more. The first thing that you want to do is you want to create some hearts. So we're going to make a mixed media little flower, and you want to make some hearts. So you need to cut down squares, and you want to have 3 different sizes. I'm starting mine at the 1-inch mark, and then I'm going up from there. So one strip is going to be 1 inch, the next strip is going to be 1.5, and then the last strip is going to be 2 inches. And so I'm going to do my 1 inch and my 2 inch from this piece of paper, and my 1.5 inch from this piece of paper. And then once you get your strips down, we're going to create some squares after that. Now that you have your strips cut down, I want you to go ahead and actually make some squares from these. So basically you're just going to turn it in the opposite direction and do 1-inch slits. So you're going to need 3 of this size, 4 of this size, and 5 of this size. So I'm doing 3 1-inch squares, 4 1.5-inch squares, and 5 2-inch squares. Once you have your squares all cut, we're going to go ahead and make some hearts. You can do this in a couple different ways. If you have any little punches that are roughly 1 inch, you can go ahead and punch these each out. You can cut these on your die cut machine. You can also use your Cricut. However, I really like the look of a hand cut heart. So I'm going to go ahead and just create my hand cut hearts out of this. And the reason why I cut my paper down to this size is because it'll give me roughly the same size for my hearts in each layer that I need. And it's not totally uniform. I don't like everything to be uniform. In nature, flowers are not uniform. So I like that there will be a little bit of variance in each petal, in each heart. My hearts are all cut now, and as you can tell, they're by no means perfect. They do not look alike, and it's going to be okay. In fact, I like them to be not all the same because it really gives a nice organic feel to the flower. Then what I did was, if you noticed, I had that 3rd piece of paper and I made leaves out of it. And this is so simple, you guys. I am clearly not a very good cutter. And so I just cut shapes freehand and made this. And if you're using more than one type of paper, like if you're gel press, you pull like 3 different papers and they're not all cohesive and together. Even if they are, I recommend going over the edges with something, and I'm going to use this art crayon, and this will just kind of bring all of it together. And I was thinking I was going to do this blue on all the edges, and then we'll work on the leaves. As you can tell, my hearts have all been outlined, and it just gives, you know, a nice uniform, well, as much of a uniform look. so they all go together and it all makes sense once the flower is put together. And for your leaves, you can just go around and do something as simple as tracing the outside. And again, I'm using the Art Crayon. Or you can even go in and just draw some little veins just to try to make it look even more whimsical. Now what you're going to do is we're actually going to punch a hole in the base of each of these hearts. So I like to just pick them up in groups. And I'm just using my Crop-A-Dile, but a hole punch would work just as well. I actually don't have a hole punch, so this is going to work. And you just want to do it towards the bottom, but not all the way down to the bottom, because it will punch through and it won't be able to hold. Because what we're going to do is we're going to put it on a brad. For this next part, we're going to start to assemble our flower, and you're going to take just a brad that you don't care anything about. If you do not want to put anything over the brad, then obviously you're going to be a little bit more selective with what you use. However, I have had this leaf brad in my stash for probably 20 years. I don't think I'm going to use it. And you're just going to start to assemble your flower. And don't worry too much if you don't get it perfectly placed. You can always go back through and maneuver things around. So we're starting with the smallest heart, and we're just placing it on upside down. So right now we're looking at the back side of that flower. Once you get it all placed, you're going to go ahead and just open up that brad to attach it. Now we're going to do the scary part because we're not quite done yet. We're going to literally crumple this up into what would look like trash. Give it a really nice smoosh. You want there to be a lot of wrinkles and creases and things like that. I know it's scary, but I promise it's going to be lovely when we're done. All right, now we are ready to make our flower bloom, and we're just going to carefully peel this back. Don't worry too much if it rips slightly, depending on the consistency of your paper. It will just add to that look. I've had it ripped, and some of my ripped ones are my very favorite. And as you're blooming your flower, once you get it all bloomed, you can maneuver the little petals around so that it lines up to your liking. And I've discovered that if I like, right, that is such a cute little flower. If I like this part, if I just keep that folded, I kind of like what that looks like, you know, but you may not. So this is where your artistic design definitely comes in. All right, so that's a cute little flower. Don't worry about that centerpiece. We're going to handle that at the end. So there you go. So far, so good. Now we're going to take these leaves that we did, and we're actually going to glue them on the base. And so I like to kind of fold up mine a little bit just to give them a little bit extra dimension. And if you want to make your flower bigger, you can definitely do that. You can start at the 2-inch mark for your squares, and then go ahead and do 2.5 and then 3 inches, and so on and so forth. You just need to add a heart each time you go up in size. All right, and so I'm just thinking, I always like to work in threes, as you know. I think I kind of like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and glue this together. Once you have your leaves situated where you want and everything glued together, it's time to finish up the flower. And I am not liking that leaf, so I'm pulling it off. For the center, you can do something like put a little bit of your Nuvo Dream Drops or the dimensional drops in. You can put a pearl in the center. You can do a gem in the center. Sky is the limit. Prima even has something out that are called flower centers that are beautiful, but I want to put this little button in. So what I did was I went ahead and threaded some embroidery floss through here, and I'm just going to pop it on like so, and that's going to be my center. And voila, now you have a really cute mixed media flower that you created with your prints. And this is just a really wonderful way to use up those prints and put them into a project that you can actually use. These are really cute. Actually, if you want to put like Mod Podge on, you can spray some Mod Podge on, put it on a little clip for like a little hair clip, put a magnet on the back. Sky is the limit with this. And sometimes it's really cool to learn about different ways to print and use the gel press, but we always get left over with, I know I do at least, so many prints, and it's nice to just see a way that you can create something like this and end up with a really cute little piece. So it's nice to know what to do with your prints after you have them done, and they don't just sit there. I am Bets Golden. You can find me here on YouTube. My Facebook is Bets Golden Art. I also have an active Instagram account, which is Bets Golden. And then, of course, my website, www.betsgolden.com. I would love it if you would follow along. And then also here on Gel Press, we release videos often with some amazing artists. Our design team are top notch. So I hope that you come back. And again, make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so. Until next time, happy crafting.